Well, thanks for chatting with me today, ladies. Can you introduce yourself and just say what your role is in real estate and on the team?
Yeah, I'm Nikki McCain. I'm an agent on the team, listing agent. I also do luxury listings and a sales manager.
Wow, that's a lot of hats. It's going to be fun to be able to learn from you. How about you?
I'm Rachel Smith. I am a realtor on the team and the sales director, sales manager, and also do luxury, land, unique listings.
Horse, everything.
Scarves, yeah.
Love it. That's wonderful. Well, today we're here to talk about how do you effectively get price reductions or maybe price adjustments with our sellers with still like retaining their trust, their loyalty, their and it's not easy, right? In markets where sellers want to get higher price points. So Rachel, tell us, what are the tools, or do you have one specific tool that you use in order to be able to navigate price conversations with clients?
Yeah, so I call it the velvet hammer. And, it's really leading with understanding and empathy, because you're having a conversation with somebody that, you want to understand. I understand where they're coming from. They wanted to get a certain price. The market's not bearing that price. And now I have to come in and be the one that tells them that they're not going to get it based on what we're seeing with the information in front of us. And I understand that. I'm empathetic towards it. I'm kind of coming in with news they don't want to hear. And I think if you don't come in understanding where they're going to be, how they're feeling or where they're coming from, that can make the conversation go in a direction that's not going to be great. So first leading with that, but then also bringing the facts, the data, the information that shows we are not priced where we need to be to get showings, to get offers, bringing it back to where we first met and how I explained to them where we needed to be from a pricing standpoint to get the offers. When you bring that information to them and show them the data, and I usually start out crafting a very well-written email, and then I call them and I walk them through it. And I would say that works 99.9% of the time.
Okay.
I get it done.
Well, good. And so tell us a little more about that. Like in your experience, what keeps homes sitting on the market?
Yeah, it's really a price perception. And we talk a lot about the price war and the beauty pageant. You really have to be the best looking home at the best price, or you're not going to be the one getting offers. So really many times it could be maybe the home isn't portrayed in the best light. The marketing isn't great. The photos didn't turn out well. We see that not from our team, but we see that happen with other listings that are sitting. And then the price isn't the value where buyers are looking for, a value, and they see a home and it's like, yeah, that's it. That's the one. So many times when I'm working with sellers, I'm making sure that the home is staged, the photos are looking amazing, and it's priced where it needs to be.
Right.
And you have to look at both active and pending homes when you go to list, and you have to be the best looking home out of all of those. If you're not, you're not going to get the offers. The way that I look at it too is they're thinking I'm losing all this money. Yeah, we're losing money. Maybe we should wait. Maybe you should hold on and not sell right now, or it's just that one buyer hasn't come yet.
Yeah.
And they're also maybe questioning, did we make a mistake? Or are we with the right agent? Some of those things could be going through their mind. And I always know too, when you're having that first conversation of pricing, it's so important to price it right, because all of those questions are going to go through their mind.
Like the first one when you meet with them, or the first price reduction?
The first time I meet with them, I'm trying to price it right. But sometimes the market shifts, and you have to change your strategy. And so you have to understand that they think that they've lost all this money, which is imaginary because they never had it to begin with.
Yes.
You know that, but they're like, I'm losing $50,000. Well, you're not. The market never said you were going to get it. The market's saying that that's not going to happen now. And what I also find too is giving them the real numbers also helps. So I'll rework a net sheet for them and say, hey, with this type of price adjustment, here's where you're at.
Yeah.
And sometimes surprisingly, they're like, oh, okay. And actually seeing the numbers is better than the story they're telling themselves in their mind. And then they look at it and they're like, okay, that's doable. I can do that.
And that's, again, you were talking about the facts, right? And
facts.
I think a lot of agents skip the net sheet, and then the story that sellers could tell themselves about those lost, it isn't always that accurate to the picture, but
And I think it can quickly turn from sellers then looking at the agent, and the agent is taking the easy way out, which is a price reduction. And so what have you done to sell this listing?
That's a great point.
Mhm.
And so I find it's super important to go through everything we have done to market their home.
100%. Yeah.
From our digital marketing to our print marketing to our market recaps that we send on a regular basis to the open houses.
Reverse prospecting.
Everything we've done then gives us credibility with our sellers to ask for that price adjustment.
And it makes sense, right? And you said something powerful earlier, like you used the phrase, well, the market's not willing to pay what you want. There's something to that effect. The buyers aren't willing to pay that. And I think so often, like you're saying, Nikki, sellers believe, well, you said that you could sell my home at that. Well, first of all, what did our first conversation look like? What did the data show? And then also keeping the conversations not about like you as an agent unsuccessfully selling it, because what you're saying is, hey, this is what we're doing. So the market is the one responding. And it really changes the conversation from it being like, oh, my agent can't sell it to the market's not paying it this, even with all the top of the line marketing. That's really powerful. So how would you say buyers go about actually choosing a home, especially in today's market?
Yeah, I think first they're looking at, it goes back to the price for a beauty pageant. They're looking at what can I afford on my price and what home looks the best in my price range. And does it have all of the things that I'm looking for? And, there's definitely criteria that they're like, this is my must have. And then they're out there looking at like, here's my nice to have. And if you find the home that has my must haves and it has my nice to haves, like I'm all in. And wait, the price is great too. So that's how they're looking. And we find right now, if you're pricing just like at or just a touch below market value, the market picks it up. So the buyers are going to come in. You're going to have more than one buyer interested in the property, and the market's going to bear a higher price for you.
Okay. And in today's market, are you seeing that testing higher, like a lot of sellers want to do? Is that working? When is it working?
It is not working.
It is not working.
It is not.
I always advise my clients, if we price at market or just below market, that will drive the traffic, therefore drive the showings and offers will follow. But if we overprice, it can be the death of a listing.
Mm-hmm. Or at least a long, slower
A long,
process
slower
to finally get to a price. And sometimes it's a
Yes.
lower price than it could have been when it was a
Yes.
fresh listing. I think those conversations with sellers, how do you go about having those? It's part of the initial process, but it makes the price reductions, if needed, later less painful. But what if you were to give it an agent, a newer agent looking to get better, like what is the thing that most works for you in those conversations?
In the initial pricing conversation?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Or that whether to get them to the right price to begin with, or that at least you can reference back when you do have to have those price reductions.
Yeah, I like to have a really deep look at the comparable listings and talk about the differences between their home and the comparable listings, because they oftentimes don't see it. They just see, well, the house down the street sold for this price, so therefore my home should sell for that price or more. But they're not looking at square footage. They're not looking even at lot size. They're not looking at all of the interior finishes the way we know that buyers are looking, because we're in the market every day.
Yeah.
So having a discussion up front about how their home is same or different than that other listing is very helpful. And then showing them the activity will let us know if our pricing is correct, right? The market will ultimately confirm the price, so that in the case that it doesn't, we can revisit that at the time we need to do the price adjustment. And they remember that conversation, and it gives you credibility with your clients.
Absolutely.
I see documented, have those, make sure that if you haven't aligned on price and you felt that you should have priced a different number and they wanted to test higher, making sure you're having pricing conversations and what that looks like. Oh, okay, well, are you guys comfortable reducing down to the price that I suggest in 3 weeks if we aren't getting the offers that we are expecting? I want to get the buy-in from those sellers, so I know that they're motivated to sell. And documenting those conversations was really important via email, or you write it into the contract as well, of like, hey, here's our cadence of price reductions. Just so you're clear up front that that's where you believe that the home is going to sell. And if you're lucky, you might, maybe you do find that one buyer, but that's likely not going to happen. And the goal is to try to find as many buyers versus that one buyer
that may or may not be around in today's world,
Yes,
today's
right.
market.
Yeah,
today's
it's
time
like
frame.
the needle in the haystack. Maybe we'll find it, but that's not the best strategy.
Okay, so when you do have those price reductions,
Yeah.
how do you handle objections from sellers? Like
Yeah.
okay, if we role play it and I'm a seller, and even though you show me the data, and I'm like, let's just give it 2 more weeks.
Yeah. So certainly we could give it 2 more weeks. The problem that I see with that is, what if the buyer that's out there looking for your home is out there right now? And now they're going to choose a different home that's already priced where the market says it should be priced, and we've sat another 2 weeks and we lost that buyer. What's holding you back from wanting to do that now? Do you think within 2 weeks we're going to find somebody after we've been sitting on the market now for a couple of months at this price? All of a sudden that's going to change? My concern is that we're losing out on really important market time right now with a price reduction that could help us get us sold.
Well, that's great. So you're basically helping them see the potential loss, because it is a real
Missing out.
and it is a real loss. Like if you're overpriced, buyers will choose a different home that is priced correctly if they're similar homes.
Yeah.
You know, if they're the best home at that price, buyers are going to write an offer on it, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's a great awareness to work with our sellers, and the way you phrase it is great, because it's not like, well, I think you need to, right? It's like, well, this is a reality that you need to factor in.
I like to tie it back to their motivation. Why are they selling in the first place? And remind them, remember, you wanted to sell so that you could downsize. You wanted to sell so that you could be closer to your family. You wanted to sell because you need more space. Whatever the reason is that ultimately brought them to us in the first place is, the reason we need to get moving toward their goal.
Yeah.
And so tying it back to their initial motivation then can be a compelling reason for them to agree to the correction.
And I love the heart in what you're saying. And it starts from the first moment. It's about their goals. And sometimes they need to be reminded about their goals for us to help them achieve it. And it's not about us wanting the price reduction just so that we can get a paycheck. It's ultimately about helping them. So that's a beautiful way to wrap this up. So any last thoughts if you were giving advice to agents on how to successfully go through navigating price reduction conversations?
I would say having the trust from your sellers is really key. Nikki mentioned earlier too, like explaining to them, sharing with them, don't be a secret agent about all of the things that you're doing, because she's right. If you just come in and are like immediately, we just need to drop the price, that does not go over well. You have to really share everything you're doing, how hard you're working for your clients to get their home sold at the current price, and that because we've done all of these things, those aren't quite working as good as a price reduction will, because that's also part of marketing.
Mm-hmm.
That marketing is also pricing right to begin with, but you have to have the trust from your sellers, and so that also comes with market knowledge, market data, empathy, and understanding their situation, and then feeling like you really want to help them.
Yeah, wonderful. Well, thank you. Appreciate you taking your time to chat with us about this. I look forward to learning more from you.
Thank you.
Thanks.